and we're going to stand up, and then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap, and we're going to get up, and then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to a special episode, man. We're doing something different. I've never done this before, but I didn't know what to call this. All right, I was looking up names. Someone said behind enemy lines. Like, that's good, but I didn't come up with it. So maybe I got to do my own thing there. But we're here with a Ravens fan to take a look at this Lions-Raven game. I'm here with my man, Jose V. Man, how you doing?
What's up? How we doing, man? It's good to be here. Ready for some football, obviously. Coming off a huge win. I'm sure we're going to talk about it a little bit later. But yeah, man, I'm hyped for this season. After week 1, I was kind of feeling a little depressed, thinking this sucks. We lost to the Raiders of all teams. But hey,
right.
They look to be pretty good. But anyway, yeah, man, Dion, thanks for having me, bro. I'm excited to be here for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, I'll have the link in the description of his channel, man. This is the Ravens guy, so make sure you check him out if you want anything Ravens. Yeah, that week 1 game, that was a tough way to lose too. But then
it was.
Hey, that was Lamar's first win against the Chiefs. That's what I read. It's
yes. First time we ever beat the Chiefs. It's funny because ever since Lamar has been starting in his rookie season, we've played the Chiefs every single year.
Wow.
It's just that's the way it's broken. So yeah, we've lost every single time until this past week. So it was a big moment for sure.
Kind of jump into that thing because I did have a question for my man Rad, and I think this kind of ties all in together. And I'm sure you got asked this a lot because this is like a very popular thing with your team because it's very unique. You have a unique quarterback. You have Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
So do you believe you guys can go all the way with Lamar? Can Lamar lead you there?
All right. So, yeah, I love this question. I really do. I believe it, because he said it when he got drafted. And the moment he said it, I just believed it, and I said to myself, I'm going to be patient. I'm going to, roll with the punches. I didn't expect for Lamar to take off as quickly as he did, I guess. I thought it would take him a little bit more time because, as we all know, I mean, even to this day, he still does have some issues with throwing the ball. Not necessarily saying that he's super inaccurate, as a lot of people will have you believe, just incapable of throwing the ball at all, right? That's not the case. He does have some limitations, but that doesn't mean that he's not capable of making certain throws. So I thought it would take a little more time, but he actually hit the ground running, man. His first rookie start against the Bengals, I believe. He got the W, and he actually went, I believe, 6-1 in his rookie season. The one loss being to the Kansas City Chiefs, funny enough. So, and then his second year came about, and that was probably the best Ravens season I've ever seen. 14-2, and I know it ended poorly in the playoffs against the Titans and everything, but that was a phenomenal season as well. And yeah, I just never expected for Lamar to take off so early. But yeah, absolutely, I do believe that he is capable of taking us all the way. It's just it's certain things that need to happen, especially in playoff games like this past year in the playoffs against the Bills. We were only able to put up 3 points for whatever reason, the coaching, the weather, there's all the little things, all the little nuances. But yeah, man, honestly, I do believe it's possible for Lamar to take us all the way. We just got to get some breaks to go our way is really what it is, especially when it comes to playoff time. So
absolutely. No, I like that. I agree with you there. You do need a couple of things in playoffs, man. It's only one game. So what do you think is the biggest strength of your team? I mean, I personally was diving into your stuff. I'm like, man, I have this question wrote down. I don't even know if you could answer this question. Okay. How do you slow down this run game, man? I just don't know how to do it. I've seen a couple teams have some success, but it's dominant. And the way you guys came out this year, do you see differences this year in the way you're rushing the football?
Yeah, so the one thing about the Ravens is that, that no matter who's going to be in the backfield, we're going to get production in the running game. That's just how it is. A lot of it is our offensive coordinator, Greg Roman. Now, a lot of Ravens fans do have problems with Greg Roman when it comes to certain situations, certain play calls that we just don't like. And in the passing game, he is not that great of a passing game coordinator. But when it comes to the running game, which is our bread and butter after all, dominant, right? So his play calls are just amazing. They're creative. There's so many different things, motions before the snap. There's so many things that Greg Roman does when he makes these plays, when he creates these plays, that it's just, it's almost impossible to defend because nobody knows, which way are they going to run? There's just so many things that they have to keep in account. And also on top of that, you have Lamar Jackson, one of the most elusive runners, the fastest runners in the NFL, period. There's just so many factors. I think the fact that you have Lamar, you have Greg Roman, and we have some decent running backs. I don't think they're anything special, to be honest, but I don't believe you need anything special at the running back position, especially in this scheme. So, I mean, I wouldn't say, I don't know if it's impossible to stop, but it's definitely very hard to stop, right? As long as you have Lamar, I think that you run for 150 pretty much every single game at least. So, the running game for sure is the biggest thing that you got to look out for. And I don't know how the Lions, I got to be honest, I haven't really kept. I did watch some of the Packers and Lions game, but then it got turned into a little bit of a blowout, and I'm like, all right, So, so I don't really know how you guys are against the run, but I mean, maybe you can enlighten me a little bit.
Hey, well, I'm hoping we figure something out because actually that brings me to 2018. I was watching, and I know that's a long time ago.
Right.
And your offense, man, it just seems different too. Like you talked about the motions. I see them pulling tackles and centers. In 2018, I'm like, okay, Anthony Lynn had some success when he went like all safeties defensively against you guys. Yeah. But I'm just like, I'm sure you've evolved since then, and that's why teams can't continue to play that way against you. But our run defense was terrible week 1. Against San Fran. You knew San Fran could run the ball, but it was bad. Week 2, it started off kind of rough, but the second half was much better. But like you said, it kind of turned to a blowout. That game hurt. I was at that game with my dad. That one hurt.
Oh,
man.
You were? Oh,
yeah.
Man, I'm so sorry.
It was cool, man. We, got all the Packers fans who were hyped, and then the second half rolls around. They just start talking. It's like, this thing fumbles. But so would you call that the biggest strength of your team?
I would definitely say so, because usually, like, when it comes to Ravens, what we're known for is defense, right? That's our history. That's what everybody thinks about when they talk about the Ravens. But this year, man, it's I don't know if it's just that we're going up against quarterbacks that have been playing extremely well this year. Derek Carr, Patrick Mahomes, they've been just lighting us up right now. Also, we have a lot of injuries in the secondary. We actually, going into this game, we have a lot of injuries on the defensive line as well. So I am a little bit concerned that maybe we will get ran on, we could get passed on. So our defense is potentially going to be struggling this game against the Lions here. We're not going to have our big nose tackle, Brandon Williams. He's going to be out for this game. We're not going to have a young up-and-comer in Justin Madubuike. We're not going to have Justin Houston. We're going to be missing a lot of people there up front on the defensive line. And we also have a lot of injuries already in the secondary. So this defense can kind of be, ran on past it. Like, it's not just this shut down elite Ravens defense that everybody's used to. So it's gonna be pretty tough. I think that the Lions can actually put up points here on this Ravens defense. So yeah, the running game. One thing about the passing game that I will say is that Hollywood Brown, Marquise Brown, he's actually been having a very good year so far. I know it's only been 2 games, but he's had a good, he had over 100 yards this past game against the Chiefs. He had like 70 yards against the Raiders, I think. So Hollywood Brown, you need to look out for. Mark Andrews, he's always someone that you got to look out for at the tight end position. But obviously, I think it all starts with this running game. That's definitely the biggest thing for this Ravens team that you got to watch out for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you kind of went to my next one with the weakness, so that's fine. But I had some of the injuries wrote down, and you guys, I mean, the COVID then hits, and it's just like, you guys, all these injuries and the COVID, you guys have just had terrible luck.
Oh, it's been bad.
I feel bad. Look at that defensive line, man. The pieces you're missing, the Justin. I like Justin coming out of the draft, the Brandon Williams. And you guys still do have some pieces there. You have the Campbells, you have the Ellis. So,
right.
You said you might be able to run the football, and I think a lot of Lions fans think that actually might be our biggest strength right now is the run game coming around, with Jamal and Swift and the offensive line that we've been trying to build. I did have a question from my man Brandon. I don't know how to answer this one exactly, but I'll throw it to you. Sure. He asked about, Penei Sewell, seeing some of the defensive linemen because you obviously are missing some guys this week. He brought up Calais Campbell, but I'm sure he's going to get different looks thrown at him. How do you feel about the defensive line heading into this one?
So it's going to be interesting, right? Because usually our defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale, he likes to send blitzes. Like, that's all he does is send blitzes. Like, I think last year we sent the most blitzes out of any team, right? This year, it's a little bit different because we did do that in week 1 against the Raiders. But interestingly, against the Chiefs, we actually backed up. We didn't blitz as much. If like once I remember us blitzing, maybe twice. Like it was crazy to see that happen. And the crazier thing is that we were actually able to get pressure, because usually when we just rush 4, it's you have all day in the pocket literally to throw. You like we just cannot get any pressure when we're just rushing 4. However, we did draft someone in the first round named Odafe Owe. He made the big play last week against the Clyde Edwards-Helaire to cause the fumble and recovered the fumble as well. So he's having a little bit of a breakout rookie campaign there. So I'm hoping he can step up big, and he's probably going to be going against Penei Sewell, I would imagine. So you might see some rookie-on-rookie action there.
There you go.
But yeah, man, like, I don't know what the game plan is going to be. Are we going to go back to blitzing heavy again? I would imagine, because maybe they think they can kind of get to Jared Goff a little bit there, kind of, confuse him a little bit. They can't do that to, like, old, like, veteran or even just guys like Patrick Mahomes. I know he's not really a veteran quarterback, but he's just an alien. He's not a human being.
Yeah.
Like, Derek Carr also was diagnosing our blitzes. So, I mean, Jared Goff, I know we're probably going to talk about it later, but I actually like Jared Goff a lot better than a lot of people do. I've seen, like, elite performances from Jared Goff. There was a game against the Vikings, like, 3 years ago that he was just incredible, like, insanely incredible. Like, I've never seen anything like it. So, I know Jared Goff has that in him, but I don't know, man. Like, how has he been performing? I know it's your show. I don't want to,
you're
ask
fine,
you questions, but...
Yeah.
I'm curious, I'm curious to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, look, I got the Goff jersey in the background, so I'm bought in. Look, I mean, I think he's played well in terms of the passing side of it. Like week 1, he came out a little rough, but it was the first game. But I've been watching last game against Green Bay, and some of the passes he was making, and it was like, I mean, this is super accurate. He played so well, I thought, through the first half against Green Bay. Mm-hmm. And it really just came down to the couple turnovers. Now, our defense wasn't getting a lot of stops, but the fumble he had on the snap. And really, the only thing that stopped our offense in that game was us. 3 penalties in one drive, the fumble, and then you have the interception late in the game. But that was really all that stopped our offense. I've actually been really impressed with Jared Goff, especially when you go from a guy like Stafford and how much attention he's getting now. So I've been impressed there. It's just about the turnovers, right? It's just limiting those turnovers. You talked about the injuries, so I think we should move to the offense. When did you start guessing on your bets? I've just been guessing. And who were your picks for week 1? Pats -3 over the Dolphins, and Bills over the Steelers -6.5. So I'm sure you're confused what the heck is going on here. Let's go back a little bit to kind of set the stage. Patriots and Dolphins. I kind of like the Patriots logo. I feel like that's underrated. Patriots all the way. Don't be this guy. Download BetQL to make smart bets. BetQL's best bet computer scans 350,000 unique bets per year to give you recommendations on all games, on all major sports. Take the Saints. Michael Thomas, he's going to carry that team. He's going to kill it. Trust me on this one. Bro, Thomas ain't playing week 1. Get up-to-date injury and lineup changes. That way things like this don't happen. I just put the money on them because of him. Solely because of him. Allegra, who should I take? Oh, it's Alexa. Alexa is not plugged in. It covers spreads, over-unders, prop player bets, and all the tools that you need to do your own research. Plus, you can see who the pros are backing. Keep up with real-time line movement with your bets. Background knowledge on team summaries, how they've done against the spread. You can look at scenarios, home, away, on grass. Head to try.betql.co/DoseOfDion to get started. Use promo code DOD for 25% off. I felt hopeless. So hopeless. Now download BetQL. Wait. Down. And I saw you had a video about this, talking about how the left side was dominant. So you guys have Villanueva now on the left side, a little different from week 1.
Right.
How confident are you with that? You like the pairing there?
So it's interesting because Villanueva, he started on the right tackle. He was at the right tackle position in week 1, and he was just getting absolutely blown up. He was on his ass most of the game, honestly. And then he moved over back to his natural position, what he's been starting all those years for the Steelers at the left tackle position, and he performed pretty well. Now, I don't know if it's going to hold up all season. I'm hoping that that's the case because I'm not sure when our star left tackle Ronnie Stanley is supposed to come back, because he did play in week 1, but I guess that in the game or something happened and he re-injured his ankle that he happened to injure the year prior. So I'm not sure how long he's going to be out. I'm hoping that Villanueva continues to be able to perform at the level that we saw this past week against the Chiefs. So far, like, the offensive line, at least from a one-game sample size against the Chiefs, they've been performing well. The center is solid, the right guard is solid, right tackle is solid, but what I'm sorry, like, I should have done my research on this Lions team, but
that's what I'm doing right now.
What pass rushers are we looking at here? Like, what kind of concern should I have, for this offensive line?
Well, one of the big names for this week was Trey Flowers, and he's questionable. He didn't practice all week, so that one's kind of like we're not sure. Mm-hmm. But, of course, you have a guy like Romeo, who's probably going to see some action against the Villanueva or, Patrick
Okwara,
on the other side. Yep, Okwara.
Gotcha.
Have, your Michael Brockers.
Yeah.
You have your Nick Williams. And it's not a bad defensive line. They invested heavy this offseason. That was where they put their money, their draft picks, Ali McNeil, 3rd round, 2nd round, Levi. Like, they went heavy D-line. And I think we've seen flashes of it, but we've had some issues getting after the quarterback because we haven't been able to stop the run first. And we stopped the run. If we can get you into passing downs, we have rushers. We have the Julian Okwara from the year before.
Villanueva might struggle with is some speed rushers. So if you guys do put some speed rushers on that left side, that could potentially cause us some trouble there. But yeah, aside from that, I mean, I think I'm hoping the line should be able to hold up. But we'll see, right? It's only a one-game sample size. You can really never tell from those one-game sample sizes. So
I don't know if you got any, but I thought I would ask, what are your concerns about the Lions? Do you have any? Maybe from us talking? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of Ravens fans are just kind of coming into this game, let's just coast through this, right? Let's get out of here with a win. And yeah, I understand the thought process, but also, man, like, you can't overlook any team. You really can't. Like, that's just how my mindset, and I know that Lamar is the same way. That's the one thing I love about Lamar is that he doesn't overlook any team. Maybe behind the scenes, maybe he's there like, it's just the Lions, but at least what we've seen, like for the media, he's focused. Like he doesn't think about other things like that. He doesn't overlook teams. So many players out. This is going to be like especially on the defensive side, this is going to be mostly second stringers. It's not going to be us at full strength. So I'm kind of concerned that maybe the offense for the Lions could get going a little bit because, like you said, you have DeAndre Swift, right, running the ball. So you guys, it's not like it's just a Division D team. Like, you guys can't play football, of course. Like, you guys are a solid team. You guys have some players. And like I said, we've seen from Jared Goff some elite performances. So I'm kind of concerned for the defensive side of the ball that maybe if the Lions get going, it could turn into a little bit of a shootout potentially. And you never know with those shootouts, right? So that's kind of how that would be my concern, I would say, for the Ravens would be the defensive side of the ball. I think that the Lions could have a very, very, a high point performance for sure against this defense. But I think we should be fine on offense. I don't really fear any defense when it comes for us running the ball. I think that we should be able to get our running game going, no problem, to be honest with you. So, but yeah, my concern is definitely on my defensive side of the ball.
I think it is a battle of the trenches in a weird way, and I'm with you. It could become somewhat of a shootout a little bit in this one, as long as we're not turning the football over, and it could be really fun at that point. It kind of became that against San Francisco in the second half, honestly, when we went the 41-33 point game. But I'm looking at that all-line D-line. You talk about the movements you have there. Our D-line's where we invested. You flip it to the other side. Our O-line, your D-line's bits and some pieces. But I feel like you guys still have good talent there when I'm looking at some of the names on there, especially a guy like Campbell. And, no Justin Houston. I was watching. He got a little bit of pressure. But you got players. Like you said, you have Jason, the rookie this year. So that's what I've noticed about this schedule is, like, we've had to play 3 good teams. They know their identity.
Right.
And they know what they do well. Yeah. Right. So it's like, it's another really big challenge, but you hit on it, not overlooking a team. I'm definitely with you there. I had to ask because I look at your draft, and I like what you guys did in the draft. Mm-hmm. What was your favorite draft pick? Personally, I like Tylan Wallace. I was a big Wallace fan coming out of the draft. Yeah. So when I saw the pick, I was like, "Ooh, I like that one." So what was your favorite?
Yeah, so it's funny because I like the Tylan Wallace pick as well, but we haven't seen anything from him. We've actually haven't seen anything from pretty much any of our receivers, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Only from Sammy Watkins and Hollywood Brown. They've been like the only ones that have gotten any targets, any receptions. Wish that we could see more of Tylan Wallace, but also, I mean, I think at the time my favorite pick was probably our other first round pick, Rashad Bateman. Out of Minnesota there. We haven't seen him play just yet because he's been dealing with a little bit of an injury. He's supposed to come back, I believe, either next week or the week after that. So you guys won't get to see him, unfortunately. Well, maybe not unfortunately, but you guys won't get to see him this game. But I would probably say Rashad Bateman was my favorite one. And if Owe, our other first-round pick, continues to play like this, he might end up being my favorite as well because I am a defensive guy. That's my thing. I love defense, but I didn't expect for Owe to come out and play this way. I thought he would take a little more time to develop because that's usually what happens with John Harbaugh and our rookies. He doesn't really play them super early. He lets them sit on the bench for a little bit. So I'm surprised that we've seen Owe so early on. Round pick Ben Cleveland get a little bit of playing time. He's an offensive guard, so. But yeah, I would probably, to answer your question, it would probably be Rashad Bateman. That was my favorite one. We just haven't seen him play yet. We got to see him play, of course.
You kind of touched on John Harbaugh. I just want to throw this in here. Obviously, his brother's working at Michigan. We're a lot of Michigan fans over here.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on John Harbaugh? I love the fact that you guys were able to take in Lamar and have the success that you did and just make it work. It's like, okay, it's not the normal thing to have a quarterback like that and win a lot of games, and no one thinks he can win a Super Bowl like that. We kind of asked that question, but you made it work with him, and I think that's really cool. What are your thoughts on Harbaugh?
So it's an interesting relationship I have with John Harbaugh, right? Because I think he's a great head coach, right? But I do think that he does have some shortcomings because, as we know, he is a special teams coach. He is not an offensive-driven coach necessarily or a defensive-minded coach necessarily. So there's a lot of things like you see Andy Reid, you see these other guys that they're just like, say if they get in a bind. I know Andy Reid like calls offensive plays regardless, but I mean there's some of these offensive coaches that can just take over play calling. Like if they're not liking their offensive coordinator, what they're doing, they just take over and then, could potentially win a game. The thing with Harbaugh, he's not really going to do that. He's just going to, if it's terrible play calling on the offensive side, he's not really going to do anything about it. He's just going to let his offensive coordinator continue calling plays. So that can be kind of frustrating for me sometimes. Sometimes he makes decisions I don't agree with, but I mean, I think he is a great coach, and I'm thankful for what we got. He's showed that he can do it before. He's won a Super Bowl, obviously. And it also speaks a lot from the fact that you're going from a Joe Flacco to a Lamar Jackson type of quarterback. And the fact that they were able to do it mid-season, like within Lamar's rookie season, was just and to go 6-1 with Lamar, so a lot of good things with Harbaugh for sure. It's actually like that year, Lamar Jackson's rookie season, he was kind of on the hot seat himself because we had gone so many years with missing the playoffs, going like 8-8, maybe 9-7, missing the playoffs. So there was a lot, like he was feeling his seat warming up a little bit. So when Lamar came in, he basically honestly saved his job. And in a way, it's good because Harbaugh, like, he embraces Lamar and he just kind of lets him be him. And that I think that's the best thing that you can have in a coach, when you just let your players be themselves. So yeah, I do like John Harbaugh, and I always hold it over the Niners fans' heads, of course, when we beat Jim Harbaugh, old Jimmy Harbaugh, took him out of the NFL in the Super Bowl there. No, but
Question from my guy John, and I know we kind of talked about this before we got on, but I don't know if you can answer this one. He asks, "Are crab cakes really that good?"
So unfortunately, like I was telling Dion, man, like a lot of people, since I am a Ravens fan, everybody assumes, oh, you live in Baltimore, you live in no, man, like I'm a West Coast Ravens fan. I'm a California Ravens fan. I live here in California, and now, to be fair, I have been to Baltimore once, okay? So I can tell you a little bit about crab. Unfortunately, I didn't get to try the crab cakes because I know a lot of people were talking about the crab cakes. I just couldn't get myself to get there. But I did try some crab dip. And to this day, they had like some crab, they had some cheese. Like, oh my God, it was so fire. Honestly, to this day, I'm still wishing I could have some crab dip. And I just want to go back over there just to try that. So I'm sure I would love the crab cakes, but unfortunately, I cannot speak on how they do taste right now. So.
No, we appreciate the answer. That's good.
Yeah.
So crab dip, look out for that.
Oh yeah, yes.
And no, I'm with you. Like, look, hey, out of state, I see you. I'm in Ohio, not as far, but I'm in Ohio to Michigan. So it's sort of the same thing. This is not about this game in particular, but it is looking at your division. We play your division this year. It's a good division,
right?
I mean, I think it sometimes gets overlooked as one of the best in football. The AFC North, how do you guys feel about that? I look at the Steelers, and I'm not a huge Steeler believer, so I think you're good there. And the Bengals, well, I mean, I don't think they showed enough, but I think it's come down to you and the Browns this season, which is interesting. How do you feel about the AFC North, maybe where you'll finish in there?
Yeah, I would agree with you there, man. Like, for the longest time, it was just Steelers-Ravens, right? Like, it's, okay, who's going to come out on top? Who's going to get the division, right? It would always be between the Steelers and the Ravens. But now it's kind of shifted because look at the Browns, man. Look, like I feel like a proud older brother. Like, look at those Browns. They're finally, they're finally catching up to speed. But man, it's been a shift, and now it's definitely, in my opinion, a 3-team race. And as the Steelers, like, they have their issues. I don't believe in them either. I love talking trash to them. I'm always going to talk trash to Steelers fans, but they're the Steelers. They have their culture, they have their history before them, and I think that Mike Tomlin is a very good coach. Never had a losing season in his career, so you got to take all those factors into account. I know, like, Big Ben, I call him Large Benjamin. I know he's he's on his last legs, but they're the Steelers, man. Like, I never discount them. I really don't. So I do think that they will potentially be there at the end. But I do think that it's going to be, as the season continues to grow, I'm hoping that the Ravens will be in it. Hopefully we get a little bit healthier as the season goes on. But I think the Browns are going to be in it for sure. So as a Ravens fan, I'm going to say the Ravens are going to win the division. I'm sorry, that's just what I believe. But yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns take it, man, honestly. And they were actually favored before the season. A lot of people were saying, oh, the Browns are going to win the North for sure. They're going to go to the Super Bowl. So we'll see, man. The games have to be played. Yeah. I know, like, they on paper they look really good, but the AFC North, it's really tough this year for sure. So this battle of the Norths that we got going on, it's going to be interesting for sure.
Steelers are kind of like maybe not the same, but like the Packers, you always know they're going to be a good team, and it's like you don't want them to be, but they are. They're the Packers. Right. You have to respect it. At least until Rodgers is maybe gone, then that things will change. You never know. Maybe that's where we get our foot.
You would hope Jordan Love is not like the next quarterback. Yeah.
Like they got it for 20 more years.
Yeah.
My question from man Crazy Doughboy. He asked, "Do you really think you could beat the Lions?" And I think he was joking here, but I'm going to kind of tie that into the prediction. Can you give us a score prediction for this game?
Like I said, man, I could definitely see it being high scoring. I don't see our defense necessarily stopping you guys too much, and I don't see your defense stopping us necessarily too much. So I do think it's going to be high scoring. I'll say something like I'm feeling like 30-24 Ravens. I'm kind of feeling like that. And honestly, maybe it could get in the high 30s. Maybe the Lions are, put up those over 30 points, and maybe the Ravens do as well. So I honestly do think that this is going to be a high scoring game. It's not going to be like I don't know if you're going to bring this up, but our 2013 matchup where Tucker just single-handedly beat the Lions. I
didn't want to bring that up.
I had to bring that up.
I'm on your guys' Twitter, and I'm looking, like, last time we played in Ford Field. And I'm like, really, man, we bringing this up?
Of course. Got to bring it up, man. It's Ravens history.
Yo, that was a good one, though, because I remember I was in choir for school, and I actually left early. I can't remember what reason we gave the teacher. We weren't supposed to leave, but to go watch that game, and you're sitting there, it's like 61. And Justin Tucker is just crazy. I'm like, okay, who has the advantage on special teams? It's the Ravens. It's always the Ravens. They have Tucker, man. He's just such a weapon.
I actually had a shirt that said Tucker on it, and I was looking for it to see if I could wear it, but I couldn't find it, unfortunately, man. So you guys skip that for now. But yeah. Tucker's the GOAT.
Tucker's the go. I like it. I rock with that. Maybe he'll give us something today. Maybe he'll give us something, son. Maybe just give us a miss. I don't know. Something just to break it up. No, I can't count. I wouldn't. Hey, man, I thank you for coming on. My man, Jose V.
Absolutely.
It was a heck of a show, dude.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yes, dude. You kicked this off the right way. Like, this is the first time we did this, and when I reached out to you, I was like, man, if he comes on, it's going to be a real good show. Because I know he knows his stuff. It'll be really fun. So thank you for coming on. And I guess good luck Sunday.
Yeah, maybe not. No. But yeah, thank you, Dion, for having me, and thank you. Shout out to the Lions fans, man. You guys keep chugging. I believe in you.
You know, we got some very diehard fans here, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be a great Sunday. The link is in the description to my man's channel if you guys want to check it out. He's the Ravens guy. All right, we'll see you guys soon. Clearly, I'm still getting used to using this to record. I usually live stream, but I accidentally cut off the outro. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my man, Jose V. Man, he does some great stuff over there with the Ravens. The link is in the description for sure. Go check him out. So happy he came on. You know, when I messaged him, like, man, it's going to be a good show. He does some good stuff on TikTok, man. He's got some hilarious stuff you'll see on social media. I think it's TikTok, but he also puts it on Instagram. I love those. I'm not a Ravens fan, but they make me laugh. So check him out if you guys want to. But as always, shout out to the sponsor of today's video, BetQL. Use promo code DOD for 25% off in the description. And until next time, thank you, Pride, for watching. And I'm out. And actually, hey, next time, it's probably going to be my preview of this game. You know, I kind of broke it down. I wanted to get the Ravens perspective in this video, but I kind of broke down my thoughts yesterday, and I'm still editing it. So that'll probably be the next video that you see. But anyways, I'm out.